That is correct. We have none.
Okay, so we'll move through that. I would ask that everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Yes. Councilmember Gilbert Lopez.
Here.
Councilmember Steve Hudson.
Here.
Councilmember Robert Huddleston.
Here.
Mayor John Thompson.
Here.
Vice Mayor Jackie Henry.
Here.
Councilmember Gary Lewis.
Present.
And Councilmember Tatiana Murrieta.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay. We have a quorum.
Yes, we do.
Item number 4 under presentations, monthly report by the Coolidge Youth Coalition. I don't see anybody from the coalition. Okay. Seeing no one step forward, we'll move out of that into call to the public. This is the portion of the meeting where anybody from the public can come up and give their name and their address and have 3 to 5 minutes to speak, to address the council and the public at the podium. Anybody like to step forward and address us? Okay, not seeing a lot of action out there, so we're going to move out of the call to the public and into the business items for consent. There's 5, 6, and 7. Does anybody need anything pulled off of the
5.
Okay, so under the consent, we're going to do items 6 and 7. Number 6, consider approval of entering into an intergovernmental agreement between the Pinal County Department of Animal Control or Care and Control and the City of Coolidge for the purpose of providing animal control services through June 30th, 2019. Item 7, consider approval of entering into an intergovernmental agreement between Pinal County and the City of Coolidge to define responsibilities and financial commitments for installation of an asphalt rock dust palliative on Bartlett Road from Christensen Road to 5th Street at a cost not to exceed $120,000.
They didn't approve anything.
Okay, anybody, if there's no comments, do we need a motion?
Mayor, with no further discussion, I move that we approve consent agenda item number 6 and 7 as read.
Second. Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, those carry. Item number 5. Consider approval of entering into contract amendment number 12 between the Arizona Department of Economic Security, Department of Developmental Disability, and the City of Coolidge for the purpose of providing fire protection services for the Arizona Training Program Center through June 30th, 2017. And Councilmember Lewis, I think you wanted that off of there, so.
Yes.
Okay.
Fire Chief asked. Who asked the question?
Councilmember Lewis, that would be mine. I create that item every year.
Okay. I'm just, because I'm reading through, and I see that it's the $5,000 deal. So anything, unless I'm mistaken, anything that's cost over that, we're on the hook for?
Well,
They only pay the $5,000, and say we fight a fire out there, and it's $100,000. 95 of that's on our pocket.
Honorable Mayor, Councilmember Lewis, yeah. I mean, the annual fee is $5,000. You know, we've had calls going out there when they've had their alarms go off. From my past history and known, we've never had an incident. So I'm sure that's something that we would have to probably follow up with the state as well as with the city and get with our city attorney and look at the contract. But right now, this item is just renewing the amendment. We renew it every year, and it's for fire protection services of the training center. So I could go back and get an answer for you on that and get clarification if you would like.
I know we've been doing it, and I don't have a problem with
Okay.
service. It's just I couldn't see in here. There's some other fees if we go over certain things, but nothing on exactly who is paying
Who
for
would pay them.
anything over what they're contracting us for, the $5,000. So I know we haven't really had that problem,
No.
but you never know.
And I
I'm
can go
just
back and
curious.
get clarification if we need to, or I can get with Dennis. We probably would need to look at that contract and, you know, I think we included in your item, I included the section where we renew it every year. But you're right, we probably have to go back to the state and maybe get clarification on that because this is a long-standing contract, so we can get back with you on that answer if you like.
I don't want it to be an issue, I'm curious who's would be on the hook
Okay.
for the rest of it, yeah.
We can get that answer for you.
When's the contract end, Dennis? Because, I mean, when in reading the backup information, it looks like when it expires, it expires.
That is correct.
This
It
isn't
ends,
one of those that have automatic, extensions. I think this is one that, when it's not there, it's not there.
Right,
Honorable,
Mr. Mayor, I think it comes before council every year at this time.
I know,
This contract.
but I'm just saying, when's it, we don't want them to
I
be
think there's a
without.
30-day out clause. I mean, if we, in this contract, I'm looking through it right now while we're talking, but if I remember right.
There
I
was a
mean-
30-day out clause.
Right.
My concern is that they have fire coverage even if we decide that we don't want to continue with this contract. So if we extended it tonight, we could exercise the 30-day out clause, should we so desire, because I don't think you needed a reason to get out in the out clause.
No,
So it seems to me that we want to have those people have fire coverage.
right. And Honorable Mayor,
I'm not
that
looking to
contract,
not extend it.
yeah,
I'm
that
just-
contract does expire June 30th of this year.
So, and what's today, the 20? So if we kill it now, they've got 3 days to get coverage.
Correct.
No, not yet.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'm sure that the state of Arizona is liable for the people that live out there, and I'm sure that they're going to have plenty enough fire protection inside those pods that they have, and they are spread out everywhere. I've lived here 34 years, and I've never seen any major fire out there that would cost us anything over $5,000. And the state of Arizona would be liable, so I don't think the state would put itself in a position to not be able to put out a fire out there with fire sprinklers, the alarms, and everything else. I don't see an issue with it myself.
And Mr. Mayor, I mean, I always thought
Other than if we don't respond.
there was a provision, I mean, I think,
We do provide liability.
yeah, I think there was something in here that if there was something that exceeded it, that we had a way to charge back for additional work that we did. But I know this is one of those annual contracts that come before council every year. I think it's come the last 10 or so years I've
Yes,
been
that is
here.
correct.
And I still don't remember us ever having a fire out there.
Right.
Um,
And some of those items in this contract are a lot different than most of the contracts that we see. So,
And the only reason why I brought it up or even asked about it, because I know like with regional fire, when they have their subscriptions out there, if you subscribe to them and if you need their services, you don't pay anything outside your subscription fee. So I'm just kind of looking at it like that. Are they subscribing to us for $5,000 a year, and then anything outside of that is on us?
Well-
That's the only reason why I had the concern.
And I think, Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Lewis, if I remember right, a lot of this was negotiated too, because we have a lot of citizens that work out there, and I think the city felt it important, and DES needed somebody to provide fire, and what regional was trying to charge them was pretty high. And I think a lot of this came up, who's been around long enough, that when they were trying to close the facility out there, and I think the city entered into this agreement to try to continue to facilitate the facility because we have so many citizens that work out there, and that's kind of how this contract came about.
so I guess if we wanted to, we could have the vote. And then if you can answer Councilmember Lewis's question, Rick, and if there's a need to put it back on the agenda, we can do that too. But at least this way they'll
Yeah.
have coverage until we can.
Yeah, if there's no further, sure, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And
We'll get back, we'll get an answer.
then
Yeah.
find out what you need to find out.
Yeah, I thought it was in here, but I couldn't find it. That's why I asked.
Okay, we'll move into business, regular items at number 8. Consider approval and acceptance of the authorization of services task order number 5 submitted by Kimberly Horn and Associates, Inc. for the purpose of providing bid documentation, preparation, and construction management services on the taxiway B and B4 construction project at the Coolidge Municipal Airport.
Mr. Mayor, that's my item, and what this entails is, as we know, Kimley Horn is our on-call engineer, engineering company that provides advice and oversight of airport grant projects. Their contract was awarded by the mayor and council probably 3 years ago, and it's a 5-year contract. As part of that contract, one of the projects that they said that they would oversee in that contract is the improvements to taxiway B3 and B4, which is what the mayor and council just authorized the city staff to submit a grant application for during the last council meeting. This item basically amends, or is the next task order asking Kimley Horn to provide the bid specifications, the contract documents to basically get this project moving forward. Should we get the grant from the Federal Aviation Administration and the Arizona Arizona Department of Transportation's Aeronautics Division. That looks favorable. We have we've built our entitlements up to $600,000. The federal government through the FAA is basically encouraging us to make this application. We're hoping that we get full funding for the larger improvement, but if not, we'll be falling back a little bit on the scope of work to do a slightly smaller project. But this at least gets us going in the contract preparation and bid specifications, and will ultimately allow them to oversee the construction management of the project as well. Be happy to answer any questions you have.
This is for the runways, and are the runways the 1.6?
This is not runways. This is taxiway B3 and B4. You know, in the council, I was reading in the newspaper from our council meeting the other night. I don't know where they got a lot of the information, but they said we were going to be extending runways and doing PAPI lighting and all these other things. The last council meeting, the council authorized the submission of a grant application to just do taxiway B3 and B4. And that's what this project would allow Kimley Horn to administer for us.
So basically, we're hiring them to do the
all of the technical things that we really need them to do to comply with all the federal requirements for doing this improvement.
and this money is coming out of a grant, or
If we are awarded the grant, yeah, the money that would pay for these services will come from that grant. It looks very,
On the grant.
yeah, pardon?
It's contingent on that grant.
It actually the grant application from all indications from the FAA is coming our way. It's just a matter of timing.
Okay.
But the monies that are spent here to Kimley Horn will be covered in that grant, the grant monies. That's correct.
And this, obviously, this runway, assuming our 30 days on the annexation will be up.
It's up, and that this particular improvement is now in the city limits.
So the city would actually maybe see some.
We will see some revenue off the construction for this project, some construction sales tax revenue off of this project.
So the airport can actually start paying back.
It'd be nice to pay back some of the things that we have to pay for at the airport.
All right. Well, that's good news. Anybody else have any?
And really, when you think about the grant as well, it's you know, our commitment in terms of the budget was a little over $74,000 as our matching funds for $1.5 million of federal funds and another $74,000 from the state as their matching funds. So it's a pretty good investment for the amount of money that we get from the federal government.
Yeah, Mayor, Rick, now you made a comment about the 30 days has lapsed.
Yeah, that was the 25th, I think, is the last day of the 30-day waiting period on the annexation. According to Tim Hansen, that 30 days is over. And so the airport, this portion of the airport property, the north half is actually inside the city limits of Coolidge. We can celebrate that.
That's great.
It is good news.
Fantastic.
And we'll be working in the coming, the 30 days is up. No protests.
That's great. Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, that's good news. What's that?
It has been recorded.
And it has been, that annexation has been recorded. So we get a little wave going across. And, you know,
Afterwards.
and I would just say, you know, this was one thing that Bob Flatley really wanted to see for many years, and I'm very happy that we were able to do that. And that's one of the last things I told Bob in my meeting with him at the hospital is we're working on this airport annexation and going to get it done for him. So I'm glad we were able to do that.
Yeah, Bob was at the meeting where the state land
Yep.
inspector didn't really encourage us very much.
I know.
So, congratulations to the staff and the people that thought outside the box to get us where no other council has ever been.
Great.
And now I would say we need to proceed
We'll
with,
proceed with the second half of the annexation. We'll be working on that in the coming months.
okay, but this is a good economic boost because
We'll-
now when something gets built at the airport, the city will actually see some revenue.
We'll see some revenue off of construction sales tax. That is correct.
So, thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Now, do we need a motion? Did we already do this, Norma?
We have not
need a
yet. We need a motion.
Motion to approve, sir?
Do a second?
Second.
Okay, pick your second, Norma, and all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Item number 9, consider approval of the claims for the month of May 2016.
Here's some more for Dennis.
Anybody have any questions regarding the bills?
That's it.
I move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that carries. This will be a tough one. Item 10, consider approval of canceling the July 25th, 2016 city council meeting. And, if anybody wants to get mad at anybody, it was my idea because now that nobody has a real summer vacation and all the schools have moved them around, the people up here that have kids may want to take a vacation, and so they're going to have to do it in July probably instead of August.
My kids aren't in school today.
Yeah, they start school that day.
Oh, wow. Well, anyway,
Cancel the
so
11th.
that was my reasoning behind moving it to July. So, does anybody have any objections or comments? If you don't.
Well, I've already had my vacation. Can I have a meeting by myself?
I'll join in.
You guys want to show up?
Go to a new bar.
Yeah, so,
No discussion. I make a motion to approve item agenda 10, please.
Second, yeah.
okay, motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay.
No?
There was a nay.
Is there? Okay. I'm like, no.
Nay, nay here, nay, nay there.
All right, report from the mayor, council, and our city manager. This time we'll start with Councilperson Murrieta.
That's you.
I don't have nothing, sorry. You didn't say my name the right way.
He didn't say it fancy like Norma does.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Gotta roll that R, Mayor.
Oh, okay. Councilmember Lewis?
Yes, actually, I'll tell you what Tatiana did. She went to the annual CAG meeting, regional meeting in Payson last week with myself and Mayor and Huddleston. I was going to say Hudson for some reason. We had a good time. The meeting was interesting. The mayor threw me and Rob under the bus once, but we were good. There's some good discussion on, possibly moving their meetings into other cities, so, I'll tell you afterward. So other people can host the meetings. I know they talked about it and then talked about funding and some other things like that. Had a couple reports from the legislators that were there. Then we had the barbecue afterwards, talked to a bunch of people that learned different things, and then had some further conversation with the state legislators that night. So learned a lot of things was going on that's affecting, our city as well as the rest of the state. So it was a good time. I think Coolidge had a good turnout. Probably the most Coolidge people in a while, I think. At least that's what they said to me. They said surprised our whole city was there. So and we had a good time. My father-in-law, when he was alive, he was a deputy director in CAG, so it was real important that my wife got to go with me, so she enjoyed it and talked to some of the people that she knew from there. So we had a good time. It was fun.
I'd like to congratulate the Wildcats, 3-0, Dennis.
No. Did they win the day?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
3-0.
Unbelievable.
I attended the ribbon cutting for the Hope International Ministries at 120 North Arizona Boulevard on Saturday. They have a nice, they really neat, the inside of their, I guess chapel. It's inside of the Adobe, what's it called? Adobe complex, whatever it is. And then I wanted to just send thoughts and prayers out to the Sioux Parish family. She was very active at the Artisan Village, and she passed away Friday night, and that's it.
Okay.
CAG meeting this past weekend was good. I really appreciate being able to go to those because you get an opportunity to talk to people and get different perspectives on the things that are going on in the state and the cities and whatnot. and especially you just get extra time to ask them where they're coming from, why they voted certain ways. So those are key. I mean, they're really good.
Yeah, I attended the U.S. Army annual birthday party. Mayor Thompson and Vice Mayor Henry was there, and I actually received an award, and I was very thankful for that. I was surprised, and so it was a great turnout, and it was a good time.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Mayor, I just been trying to keep up with the Arizona League subcommittee working and that type of thing, and then also condolences to the Emmett Ohio family. Emmett passed away, and we attended his funeral, so it was packed standing room only, which would be expected for a great man like him. Thank you.
Sir, Rick?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, appreciate Norma and the other department heads for looking out after the city. In my absence, I was in the Black Hills for the last 10 days, getting some much-needed rest, and it was just beautiful green, and a lot different this time of year there than it is here. Hard to come back to 120 degrees. Just a couple of meetings to bring you up to speed on. The Coolidge Economic Development Committee will have their meeting tomorrow at 11:30 at the Artisan Village. Susanna Struble will be making a presentation to the committee there, updating the committee on Main Avenue construction and some other projects in the city. We appreciate having her there to offer her input on those projects. The 4th of July fireworks coming up. This is already the 4th of July, this coming up weekend. And so there's the fireworks display and the celebration, day of celebration from 6 to 8:30 at the Kenilworth Sports Complex on Monday. We have a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on July the 6th. One case to discuss agronomy innovations, the medical marijuana facility they're proposing to expand onto the property to the east of their facility into what was formerly the Re-Veg Services property. The 21st is our deadline to cancel reservations for any of you that decide you cannot or don't want to go to the league conference. So keep that in mind if there's a reason you don't think that you can go. I know that Norma has registered all the council members, I believe.
That is correct.
And department heads. And so the 21st is the deadline for canceling the reservations. So please let Norma know if you cannot go so we can save some money there. The 26th of July, there'll be a Meet the Candidates forum at 6 p.m. Do you know where that is? I'm trying to remember. It's here in this building on July the 26th. 6 p.m. And I guess that's about it. I did go to Las Vegas the day before I went on vacation. Met with a company there, Gigacrete. If you're interested in looking at that company, look them up online. I had a great visit with that company. Met both principals that developed this building system. I was very impressed by their product. We were able to communicate all of the assets that the city of Coolidge has in terms of, how we are as a government, how we can facilitate development, and also talked a lot about the major projects that are happening in the area with regard to the inland port, which is an area that they're kind of looking at, the Ted Nash property that's currently in the annexation dispute, as well as the Phoenix Mart. And, they were very impressed that I attended. They went up there and wanted to look at their facility, and I really enjoyed myself. I learned a lot about their product. Innovative building system. It could innovate the way, it's basically steel frame with foam panels. And if you look at it, they go up, you can put a beautiful home up in 4 days with a crew. And they use a stucco max. The energy efficiency of these homes is tremendous. And the stucco they use they have a ballisticrete, which ballistic rated for 50 calibers can't even shoot through this. It's amazing material. And so it was really an exciting visit. Even though it was short, I think we made a good impression on the company while we were there. So Ted Nash and his partner picked me up at the airport. I applaud Ted Nash and his partner for encouraging me and putting good words in about Coolidge with this company. So they're planning on building about 10 companies across the country, different factories, I should say. for this, and I believe they've entered into a contract with one of the larger home builders in the country to use their product. So pretty interesting to see if it happens, some of them pans out. But it was a worthwhile visit. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Well, I'll keep it short and sweet. I went to the U.S. Army birthday celebration and watched Councilmember Hudson get his well-deserved award. I was at the CAG meeting. It was an interesting meeting. Those representatives took a little bit of a beating from the cities and towns on the CAG board, but they took it fairly well and moved. The meeting moved along, but I could tell at least initially, the first one was surprised he got the reception he got from Mayor Rankin from Florence.
Oh, God.
So, but, I would say that one of the things that is
Must have been the altitude.
That was interesting.
That's funny.
Probably last February, we, Representative Congresswoman Kirkpatrick and myself and some others, Bob Flatley, met with some of the businesses in town, and we met with William over at Bright Industries. At that time, he approached us about doing an apprenticeship program. We sent a letter, correspondence to Coolidge schools, and never heard anything. Well, last week I met with Representative Shope, who happens to be the president of the Coolidge School Board, and we are going to have a meeting and try and assemble a group that can get an apprenticeship program going with Bright Industries and hopefully expand it to Stinger. So the people, the students that may not be immediately college bound, that graduate from Coolidge schools, have an opportunity to make money while they're in school and then have a job to work themselves into. So that's something. Also, Lynn from the Chamber is aware of a group that has funding for these type of programs, so we're going to bring them in and we're going to try and get this off the ground. So that's something that we will be working on, both as a mayor and a council and hopefully with the school. So anyway, that's all I have. If there's nothing else, I'd look for a motion to
I had
adjourn.
one more thing.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gary, go ahead.
Something I forgot. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but the city of Casa Grande approved for Phoenix Mart to start going upwards. So they got the approval. They're going to start the outer shell of the main building. So we should be seeing that going up. And I know it's not in our city, but it will affect possibly our inland port project. So they can kind of, because they're going to kind of feed off each other. So it's nice to see that that's finally going up because it's good news for us and our ideas. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you, sir. Now I'm looking for a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Gary, you didn't. Okay. We're adjourned.
I said aye.